everybody, Coleus. Another weekend in the books, another weekend closer to hopefully the Bayhead Farmers Market. I made up some pots yesterday. I'm still making up a few pots. I'm pretty much finished, but I ordered more of those small hanging baskets, and I'm really thrilled. I'm really happy, and I'm going to order more for next year so I have them. These came out so, I mean, I can't be more pleased with the way they came out. So everything is really taking off. The weather's been so perfect here in New Jersey. It's been we could probably use a little more rain, but it's been warm but not overly hot. Again, it's not summer yet, but we've been getting such, at least here by the shore, it's just been really ideal for the greenhouse, for the Coleus. So actually what I did is I took out all of my hanging baskets. We're going to feature our hanging baskets. Hanging baskets are so fun to make up. You can just, especially if you have a handful, you know, if you have a bunch of varieties. And this year I made up a really nice selection, and I know that these are going to go. So let's go take a look. And just in general, I'll feature some of my big planters, how everything is really taking off. So I'm really happy. At this point now, I'm watering with the liquid Miracle-Gro general purpose plant food. But let's take a look at these beautiful Coleus hanging baskets. Okay, so it's we'll get a little day trip, a road trip here for the hanging baskets. I took them all out of the greenhouse. We're gonna let them sit out here all day. It's really good. I mean, they're hardened. Being in the greenhouse at this point now, I keep my greenhouse wide open 24/7. I have a barrier in there to keep rabbits from going in there. But they're well hardened. But this will really do them. This will be really beneficial for them. It's good to get them out, and I wish I could leave them out here all the time. And I do have some plants, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, that I do leave out. But let's take a look at these beautiful hanging baskets here. So, and also some of my monsters, they're just really beautiful. But you can see these are and they're so light. You almost feel like they need water, but they're very light. And the Miracle-Gro moisture soil is very light and fluffy as it is. You just have to be careful. Just make sure you dig down if you're not sure. But these will also dry out quicker. But once the Coleus start getting a good size like this, the soil will be shielded from the direct sun until we start getting into 90-degree weather. Then something like this, you're going to need to water once or twice a day. Again, the optimal place for these is an area that gets sun in the morning and in the afternoon, or a mixture of sun and shade. That's the optimal condition. If you're really wondering about, can I put my Coleus in full sun? These will do okay in full sun, but they'll dry out really fast. So you're going to have to water them more. But you can see I have a nice mixture. Every one of them is a little different. Let me put we go out a little here so we get everything. There's a nice Kong Red and a Mosaic. The Mosaics have really gone crazy. The Mosaics, I find, just go to seed so quick. I've already snipped off a whole bunch of them that went to seed already. But you can see, and at this point here, I'm also trimming. This one's going to need to be trimmed. See how it's kind of towering up there? That whole top piece right there, I'm going to snip it right there. And that needs to be done now until everything fills in really nicely. And I already did that with that one. You can actually see I snipped it. So that's part of the process. Here is an interesting one. This is it's like an orange Coleus, and I grew some wildflowers in my aero garden, and I figured let me make a little hanging basket up with those too. So we'll see. Now that's something that is going to need a lot more sun. So this one is going to be in full sun. Here's a jade and a Christmas candy. Jades are those white with the green. Here's a jitters variation and a mosaic. I have a lot of mosaic hanging baskets because I grew a lot of mosaics. And here is that, it's almost like a moon dust. But I believe this was from one of the Saturn seeds that I planted. So you're going to get a little variation like that. I mean, that's a good question people ask, you know, if do the seeds, are they true to the, you know, to the mother plant? And there's, you know, there's always going to be some kind of cross-pollination for rapeseed. There's always some kind of a little cross-pollination that's going to go on with the seeds and so forth. So, but for the most part, all of the Saturn's rings seeds that I harvested, that I actually hand pollinated, if you're following along, every one of them are true to the mother plant. With a little bit of, you know, some of them have the spots, and this is still yet to develop, so this is still young, so it may develop into a full Saturn's rings, or it may just be like this, which is beautiful. And look at there's what I'm talking about, seed stalks. We're gonna have to snip that. So that's what I'm doing at this point. You can see I already snipped this one. Is trim. You need to trim early on until everything fills in really nice. You're like a little artist, a little sculptor. Trim until everything gets nice and symmetrical, and that's up to you. You can see here, I've trimmed quite a few already. It's another beautiful one. Look at that. And you see, I tried to designing these. I tried to keep Coleus that were around the same size and that grow around the same rate. I found that this jade was a very slow grower, and these are inherently slow growing Coleus. These little watermelons that I got, Wizard Rose Kongs, have been very, very slow. It is sort of a trusty rusty, and I threw 2 mosaics in there. So you can see I try to put relative size Coleus, and these pots are almost 6 inches. They're 5.9. So 3 Coleus is really the max with these. But as you can see here, I don't know, I have 2. Actually, I have 2 on this one. I have 2 on this because these were, I anticipated this Kong Red to be a really big, it's a larger leafed Coleus. So I anticipated that, and I put 2 in this here. And you can see again, seed stalks. These mosaics go to seed really, really quick. And if you're not interested in harvesting seeds, snip them, because it's going to decline your plant. The reason why it declines your plant is the energy that it takes to maintain these seed stalks, and that's what these are, these little buds. Takes away a lot of the energy needed for the roots, the stems, and new leaf growth. So if you let them go to seed, you let the seed stalks develop and flower, it's going to decline the rest of the plant. So snip them if you're not interested in getting seeds. And here's an interesting one. It's like a dark inky, not inkies, these are just like a dark Dino and a jade. So I put 2 or 3 in these. The smaller ones I put 3. So you can see we have a nice variety of hanging baskets. So just use this as a guide if you're interested in if you haven't already this year. You can still plant Coleus seeds. I mean, it's late, but they will really catch up quickly. So you may not have full plants like this for another month and a half or so. But anyway, next season in September, I will be selling my Coleus seeds, and but you can create pots like this. And this is going to be my showcase for the season. I did a little trimming yesterday because a lot of larger leaves were overtaking this, and we want to let this fill in because this is beautiful. Look at this. This is sort of an empire, even though it has like the red in the middle. This is more of like an empire Kong. Again, I really don't lose sleep because then you look on the bottom there. That's more of a Kong rose. So, but there's always going to be a little variations. And you know what? I'm going to snip these. I really should use the scissors. I'm not going to. Because these stems are getting a little tough, and I don't want to really damage anything. But these top ones really need to go. And this one here, I'm going to start to trim the top because it's getting a little bit over compared to the others. So we'll keep doing that until it's a nice, even, full plant. So just follow along and watch as this thing develops. It's really this was in the greenhouse for a long time. And I brought it out here. Okay, so again, we need to trim this. So and I'm not really worried about trimming too much. Here we go. It's a little more difficult with doing the film, but I'm not worried about too much here because this thing is gonna explode. But we need to give it a little haircut. See, it's kind of hanging down here. So don't worry about it. Trimming these, it's like your hair. You need to get a haircut. See, it's kind of hanging down here. It's getting in the way. So it's kind of hard with the camera. My cameraman's in Italy. So there we go. All right, so. And you can argue, you can really go around here. And here, see, it's kind of hanging down here. Now, I mean, I want that to happen, but not now. Eventually, once this thing is full, and we're just going to do this for maintenance. But you get the idea. And that's going to fill in. That's just going to explode all that bottom growth. And just make sure everybody gets a chance to be heard here. We want this to have equal billing. There's a few down on the bottom there I could trim. We don't really like having a lot of foliage touching the soil, so check under here for anything dead, because that can create problems. So it's not hard, and you don't have to, I mean, spend your whole afternoon doing this unless you really like to. But I do a little every day, and that's how fast they grow. You know, 2 days, or you get a rain, you get some rain, and it's like overnight, boom. So you just do a little at a time. Just check your pot. Fertilize every 10 to 12 days with the Miracle Grow General Purpose Plant Food. Here's a nice one. Now these were rootings from inside. I had in that little blue vase, that little ornate blue vase. It's a good size. And this will fill out really, really nicely. And this is really, these were from this mother. This is a mother rooting from in the house also. So I have a number of rootings from the main mother plant. And I have another rooting in the house, which is about 4 rootings, and they're all going to seed now. So what I'm doing is I'm hand pollinating those, so I'll have the seeds to this. Okay, and here's that other beautiful, we gotta pick this up. Put this over here. And I do move this around. This had a good shot of morning sun already. So this generally stays on the table here. But look, you can't even see the vase. This is that overwintered Coleus that was in that white plastic pot that I kept all this from last year. And as soon as I could, I transplanted it into this. And I took about I don't know how many rootings I took of this, and they're all growing equally as beautiful. So this is a really nice, healthy Coleus. So I'm doing everything I can to get as many rootings off of this and create clones of it. And that's what's really cool. A plant like this, you can take numerous cuttings and just keep creating pots and more pots, grow them out and give them to friends or family or whatever as gifts. And this is such a beautiful Coleus. I love this. This has all the characteristics that I love in Coleus. I love that pink. I love I like the jitters. And I'm going to show you a Spitfire in the greenhouse in a second that I love, that has that fireworks, that hot pink fireworks, and it has like a jitters. It has like the slender jitters. So this is really a beautiful Coleus. And here's a few others. These are all those wizard rose that are very slow growing Coleus. These are like, waiting for water to boil type of growth. So this one's doing really well, but they're just very slow. So I have these up here, and I'll move them around. I'll show you. I have a whole bunch of pots outside, and here is the lime sport that my friend Sherry sent me from Canada months and months ago. And this broke, the original one broke, and this was a little stem that I salvaged. And it seems to be doing okay, so we're keeping a good close eye on this, making sure it's getting some sun, and then we'll move it. Okay, and here are those zinnias. I never grew zinnias before, so I don't know how tall these go. I think we'll see how they do in this pot. It just kind of was an impulsive thing. I had them growing out of my aero garden. I had to put them in a pot. I had this here. I'm like, all right, let me throw 3 of them together. We'll see what happens. But I'm sure once they blossom, which they are ready to go, I'm flooding this with sun. And I just gave them some Miracle Grow Bloom Booster 2 days ago. So these are going to be really healthy monsters. I'm sure they're going to be beautiful. So stay tuned for this. Here's that Mariposa. This is another rooting that my friend Sherry sent me months back. I had 2 larger leaves on top here, but I decided to trim them because we're getting undergrowth coming in, and I don't think that those 2 pieces up top were doing any good. And I put it in a single pot because this is supposed to grow into a really big, beautiful Coleus, so I wanted to give it a nice, fairly large pot, not too large. You don't want to put a single rooting or Coleus in one big giant pot, but that should do all right. And here's some more. These are the Saturns that I grew from seed from the mother. Here's some more zinnias, and again, these I just leave out here. I just made these up yesterday. And some bluebell terranias, they're doing real well. And again, my other planter. Some hanging baskets. And that is those are more of those wildflower mixes. These all came from the Aero Garden. So lots of sun. These are going to get lots of sun. This hanging basket's a nice deep hanging basket, so it's in the sun all day, and it's doing pretty well. And again, same thing with these here. I just trim them every day, or not every day, but every time I come out here in a day or two, I see something ripped. Maybe a squirrel got in there or whatever. I just maintain them little at a time. I always just have a scissors out here, always at the hand at the ready. and that's how I maintain all of my plants. It's not a work to me really. It's just I'm out here and I do a little every day. I have a lot of these beautiful Vinos. They're so velvety. The only thing with this is why it's not good to water Coleus leaves, because if the water has calcium or any kind of anything in it, and that might be the fertilizer, it kind of dried up and spotted the leaves, the dark ones. So that's the only downfall. That's why it's not really always good to. Coleus don't like to be misted. They don't like their foliage wet, but you know, when it rains, obviously it's going to get wet. So, but I got a bunch of these, so I'm like, let me make up some pots. I have a lot of these nursery pots. I think these are 6-inch nursery pots. I have a lot of them, and I figured, you know, let me make these up, and I'll leave these out here for the duration, and eventually they'll be part of my farmer's market. All right, same with these. Just nice mixtures, like an old orange, rustic, and just a variation, some different mix of color, some contrast. There's the Vinos. So that was a Christmas candy. It kind of mixed, got a little bit of. There's always some kind of mutation when you grow a lot of them. And here's some mosaics, and I did trim some of these, you can see, and these will fill out nicely. And again, I'll be selling these at the farmers market. I don't bring everything at once at the farmers market. Same reason why when I planted my seeds early in the year, I don't plant everything at once, because I don't want everything coming of size at the same time. So each week I do my farmers market. I bring the biggest, healthiest stuff first, and others like these will be a lot larger in a few weeks. But as I sell my grown, well, healthy stock, I hate to use really, those are bad adjectives really, but you see what I'm getting at. I bring the pots that are ready to be sold first, and as I sell them, as these develop, then they'll be next in line. So that's how I basically, that's how I do my farmers market. I love these mosaics, but again, they're crazy seeders, so I'm gonna have lots of those seeds. Okay, here's the other rooting from that one that was on the table, and I put this into a larger pot. And you know, this pot here is part of my own collection, so I'm going to keep this, and this will fill out. There's so much time, there's so much season left. We got the whole summer and fall, so this is going to be a monster just like that, and it's already grown tremendously. So I just have some of this debris that I take out, but for the most part, it's fine. If you're following along, you can see already how this thing is filling in, and I'm telling you, in another month or so, this is going to be full. I still have to do some trimming here. You can see all that new growth coming in. These have to be trimmed at this point. I'm not gonna trim the tops yet. I still want it to get a little taller, but these have to be trimmed. So, but we do have a lot of growth coming in the bottom. Some debris under there, we'll clear that out. Fertilizer, same thing, every 10 days or so I hit it with the Miracle Grow, the mixed liquid, the powdered mix that you mix in with water. So stay tuned. This is going to be just as beautiful as last year's mother plant. All right, and you know what? Before we close, I wanted to show you, this is that Spitfire. I love this thing. So I'm gonna I'm going to put this into a larger pot. And here is a chipotle. That's very similar to, like I said, the jitters. It has those long, slender leaves, but these are beautiful. So I'm gonna try to cross pollinate this with that, if I can get seed stalks from them. So, really nice breeze today. I have the fan out here, really because I just emptied. I took all those hanging baskets out, but you can see these all could really use to be put outside. I don't think I'm going to get to it today. I got a lot of the somebody else had mentioned is a lot of the gnats, the little soil gnats. I got them this year too. I mean, they're really nuisance items. There's you can see them. I don't know if they really show up on the camera, but there's a trimming, there's a cutting from that mother on the table. And another one. So that's another one. And you can see again, slow, this water dripping. Darth Vader. So we got a lot here. Got a handful of mosaics. There you go, going to seed already. I love these little frogs, little hanging frogs. And there's a Saturn. Actually, I'm going to bring this one outside. This one I'm going to put. This is Saturn's rings from that mother plant outside here. This is the one that was in the house. If you're following along, this is the one that was in the house. Look how giant, and it's already seeding. So I haven't decided. Overnight, I trimmed this just the other day, and the seed stalks just explode. So, but I did hand pollinate these, and this is the offspring. So they're true to the mother. So I still haven't decided what I'm going to do. If I'm going to just hand pollinate these now. I mean, that's why I had this plant, for the seeds. I wanted the seeds for myself. So, seeing there's so many coming in, I think I'll sacrifice it now, let them grow out. And there's no other Coleus. The ones in my greenhouse are not seeding. Nothing's going to be seeding, so this is going to be the only one. And maybe we'll get some seeds from it. Well, we know we'll get some seeds from it. And just a handful of window box planters. I always make these up. I couldn't find any of these as cheap as they are. The store, the Dollar General that generally sells these, they only had 2, so I just grabbed the 2. But I have enough. I have a nice variety, if you're following along here. Look, see, just almost every single mosaic is going to seed. So just pop it off. Just snip the seed stalk. Don't let them go to seed unless you want the seeds. But there's so much more growth. Growing time. Look at that. I love that burgundy. So it's you wish that this was a sofa and you just dive into it. No wonder why insects hang out in here. So, and here is this is another one. This is the La Rambla. There's another rooting from that table Coleus. So I have a nice variety, and here these will be the grab and go Coleus. So what I do is I put these in those aluminum catering trays, and I keep those at the farmer's market, and I think I just sell them for $2 a piece. Or $1 a piece, $2 a piece. I think I start them off at 2, and then as if I have anything left over after about 2 or 3 weeks, then I just drop them down to $1 a piece. And the little hanging tins. let's hang this. Check this out. This one's nice. And I move these around in the greenhouse. They seem to do really well on this side here. I'll put them over here, but they seem to be doing really well over here. So we're gonna keep them there for another week or so, and then I'll move them over here. Okay, so this is for Sherry. Hey, Cher, here is your piñata. It's doing well. And here is one that I got from Rosie Dawn, and that's doing pretty well. So I'm going to put this outside. A lot of these larger pots, I keep in here on the floor, and then I move them outside. But it seems like I have that nice patio, or that brick patio area that it's pretty much full, but we'll see about moving them outside. And here is this is the La Rambla, Sherry. This is your La Rambla, and this one is this is another one that I didn't think was going to make it, but it looks fine. It's coming. It's doing really well. So these are all doing very, very well. Again, trimming. It's a lot of work. I do a little at a time, including the grab and goes I trim, because these just take up so much. It's hard to water them. I watered them yesterday, and a lot of them are dry. I gotta hit them with water again today. But these dry out pretty fast over here. And it is a beautiful day today. It's about 80. Yesterday it was over 90 in here, even with the doors and windows open and the fan open and the fan going. All right, and here again, here are the Wizard Roses. They're just super, super slow. Just hot, waiting for water to boil, slow. So I think these were perfect for these little tins. And there's another Saturn's rings. That is again from that mother plant. These are all the ones that I hand pollinated. And this is just a handful of ovals. And these will fill out nicely. And again, this is what's left of all the jet black, the vino, and I have a handful of jades left. So that's really my game plan. How I do every year, I put as many as I can in pots, and whatever greens, the duds I call them, I put over here. And these aren't necessarily duds. A lot of these are really nice. And I gave a handful away to neighbors already, and that's basically how I organize everything every year. I try to get as much of the colorful stuff that I have in pots. That's a monster. How about that? And this one here, hold on, this one's too nice to just film in the back. Look at that. And those of you wondering how much I sell these for, just $10. I'm not looking to make a killing here. I have a lot of Coleus, and there's only a certain amount of time for the farmers market that I do. I don't have a lot of time to do multiple markets, so I do the farmers market near my house, and it starts in late June. So but still, I make a profit on these, and that's not my motivation at all. I don't make a great profit. This doesn't pay my mortgage. Actually, if you really kind of look at it, the work far exceeds the financial benefit of this. This is not what I do this for. I do this for, number one, for you guys, to teach everybody about Coleus. I do it because I enjoy it. I do it for the organizations that I do benefits for, like USO Wounded Warriors, Mars Animal Foundation, Tunnel of Towers. So, and again, I have my eBay listing, Jim's Coleus, on eBay, that I sell seeds. So the seeds from all of these Coleus you see, I have the ones that are legal to sell. I only sell legally patented, non-patented Coleus seeds. So just jot that down, Jim's Coleus on eBay. I only have a shirt listed there. I try to keep my page open, but I don't have any seeds for sale now. I don't sell them until the fall, and I could sell them all year long, I suppose, but I don't have the time to sell seeds all the time. I retire next year in March, but I still don't know if I'm going to do that along with this at the same time, because it takes a lot of time, and it's just me. It's not like I have a staff. All right, everybody, so I hope you enjoyed this. Just keep in touch with everybody. Any questions? I get quite a few questions. A lot of people who purchase seeds from me, they're showing me the Coleus, their Coleus that they've grown from their offspring, and some beautiful, beautiful Coleus. Thank you. People can send them to me on my Instagram channel, Jim's Coleus on Instagram. I do have a Facebook page. I'm not on Facebook a lot on my Jim's Coleus. I'm really heavily into Instagram. I find it to be much easier, user friendly, and of course my YouTube channel here. So any questions, comments, YouTube or Instagram, and I try to check everything as best I can. So, but beautiful, beautiful day today. Gorgeous, just a great breeze coming in. And everything looks really, really well. I think we're ahead of schedule compared to last year's disaster. Everything is growing, and I'm really happy with how everything looks. And I hope you enjoyed the hanging baskets. It's a wonderful thing to maybe think of making when you're growing Coleus. So, all right. So thanks for following along. Subscribe, pass my channel on to your friends. And stay tuned, got lots more to come. Thanks for following, everybody. Stay tuned, Jim's Coleus.